People who are afraid to question hear something that is wrong and ignore it. Christianity, being one of the primary bastions of this type of cowardice in our present society, has many examples of this. God's brutality is one of the most obvious examples. People hear week after week stories that should turn their stomachs, but like idiot peasants from the Dark Age who believe somehow, magically, that God has appointed the local king so that he can not do wrong, these subjugated people say nothing. The believer actually thinks this God he or she hears about has a good reason for slaughtering children, pregnant women, and the like. Justice is only justice if it is no respecter of person. Otherwise, it is organized crime. Just as the president is only a man, so likewise, if God exists, he is only a being who, if he does evil, is an evil being. Being superior in knowledge and ability simply means that more should be expected of this entity. Being holy, a term referring to the radiance of the sun, if it compels him to be self-involved to a murderous level, then how is that not evil, or whatever it is that compels God to act? Killing virgins born without a hymen and rape victims is not good. The Bible clearly states these things are to be done. Even the New Testament, involving Jesus, God demands that someone must die for him to forgive. The need for blood and death seem to be more like the urges of a psychopath than a healthy and good being. Or was it suicide? The next set of denials starts with the complexity or perfection one would expect from a divine document. The gaps of silence in the scriptures are one trigger for suspicion. Where was God in between the New Testament and the Old Testament? What did Jesus do from age 12 to 30? Why are apocryphal books referenced as truth, which are too fantastic even for the magic of the Bible? Many words are wasted if the Bible is to be a guide for mankind. Follow a thread that seems to be there in each instance of a word or a number, as different books are examined, is just a hodgepodge of ideas, meaning different things at different times, ghosts of different understandings. Where is the depth? Why are there so few, if any, profound insights on consciousness, morality, and suffering? Why is blatant astrological symbolism used again and again, but condemned? Did the priesthood encode it and then keep the people out? The defenders of the faith must constantly explain God's inability to put a coherent document together with absurd explanations like, God is not concerned with chronological order. The only time it becomes beautiful, like nature, is when it is viewed as academia views it. Many collections of books, pulled together and edited many times by many peoples over thousands of years. Next, addressing the fate of man, an explanation is needed because to anyone with a sense of sympathy, it is obvious that if God cared for the eternal souls of even a few, he would be visible. Clearly, he is not concerned, and even more to the point, if he is real, he is actively covering his tracks, which is alarming on two fronts. 1. What sort of butt-kissing blind man does God want as a follower? And 2. Does God understand eternal torment? His proposition is madness. Eternal torment for a life of temporal wrong? Even the debate in modern times about the torture of madmen who are terrorists is only to extract information, not to punish. This choose me or else takes away the free will completely. The proverbial gun against the head of sinners is a choice that Christian cowards insist is a real choice, for no other reason than they fear it will be turned on them. The next set of problems stem from the questionable origins that any serious Christian should be taught. Paul is the father of modern Christianity. He did not know Jesus. While Jesus, according to the stories, taught his 12 disciples, they are relatively silent in the New Testament. Thinking the Gospels are the voice of the apostles is not correct. Except Luke, none of the authors even claim a name. The names are simply traditions, and bad ones at that. Why is Jesus so different in each account? Different last words and conflicting locations and times do not mean the author had a different perspective. It means at least one is wrong. They do not seem to be apostles. Who writes in the third person about themselves? What Christian thinks about this? Why does Paul go on to set everything up? Why does Paul never quote Jesus? Paul's Jesus is a ubiquitous phantasm. Why does Paul not defer to Peter's judgment in Acts? Why does Peter know nothing of the Great Commission in the book of Acts? Only just a little while ago, Jesus, after rising from the dead, burst into light and gives kindergarten-like instructions. Don't be a racist and lighten up. And Peter is such a lame brain he cannot remember